One, two, three, four. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the seventh episode on the couch with the Dog's Board. It's Dr. Clark here, and I am here with a special guest, another EMP member. But he's not just a member of EMP. He is the owner, creator, and leader of EMP. I'm talking about the Guinness World Record winning pro gamer and black activist, EMP Isaiah Triforce Johnson. But I'll let him introduce him the way he would like to.
Hey, what's going on, guys? As the doc said, Guinness World Record holder on the sea on the founder of Empire Arcadia. I'm also inducted into International Video Game Hall of Fame. I don't know if a black activist would be the word to describe me. I'm more of a pro-African. I don't even know if I want to use the word activist, because activists really focus on trying to get things done, and they're looking for things like solutions. Me, I just do. So I'm just pro-African, and I just do it. Whatever I can do, I just do it. And so whether or not I get a chance to work with other people or not doesn't stop me from continuing to push Africa forward. So that's just how it is. But thank you for having me on, and let's get to it.
All right. So let's first start off with this. So please tell us a little bit about your pro gaming history, or just your gaming history period, if you would like.
All right, so I'm 42. I always tell people I'm 22. I'm always 20 years younger than I actually am. I've been playing video games for 38 years. Casually like everybody else for a number of years until around 2001, 2002. I decided that it would probably be best if I took this to the next stage and focused on what's the word for this? The more professional side of it. And what I mean by professional, I don't mean by like pro gaming type stuff, like being great at a game. I mean the business aspect of it. So that's my thing. That's what I do now. As for when did I go pro? Well, not pro, but professional, so to speak. I went professional a long time ago. I think I was professional before I even formed the company, because I used to play video games and get all types of records in the arcades. I just never made a big thing about it. So when I formed the company, I focused on saying, hey, listen, what can I do? What can I do to advance what I'm doing? It's not about just winning at these video game tournaments or setting records. It's more so all about what I do with the win. A lot of people, you have a lot of pro gamers that they're great at these video games, and they do these great accolades, but outside of the accolades, they really don't do anything else. They just win, and it stops at that. That's as far as it goes. I won this tournament. I'm great. I'm a champion. I'm the best. Blah blah blah, and that's it. And that doesn't really do anything for anybody. When you really think about it, in the grand scheme of things, what does that do for anyone other than glorifying yourself? So for me, when I started at my quote unquote pro gaming career, I didn't want to just be one of those guys. I wanted to be one of those guys. I really love Muhammad Ali, because he wasn't just he didn't just champion being a boxer. He championed the African cause globally. So from Africans, from the Native American tribes to the Africans back on the motherland to definitely the Africans in America. So he was a champion in all right, and he was willing to sacrifice his championship and everything that commercially made him for what was best in the best interest of his people. And in that's why I don't think he's a black activist. I think he's an activist, pro-African. He represents Africa on so many levels through African excellence. And that's who I kind of model myself and try to follow after. It's definitely Ali.
All right. That's excellent. That's excellent. So speaking of Africa, since I know many of our listeners would probably be aware of this, especially by the time this comes out. Um, so you are doing your second campaign towards Africa, correct?
Second, in terms of physically going out there, I've been campaigning for gaming in Africa going all the way back to 2013. But we had to put down a plan of action from 2013 all the way up to like 2018. 2018 was the first time I actually left out and put it into action, which was just an introduction by going to Ghana for our African campaign. But if we're just talking about how you mentioned it in terms of like our campaign, like what am I doing right now? Yes, this will be my second time going back to Ghana and pushing out the Africa Esports initiative.
All right.
And that's August 19th through the September 16th. But before you move forward, there's something. I never really did answer your question completely in your last statement because I kind of was going over my resume about the difference between gamers that do and all this other stuff. But
all right,
so I just wanted to be able to say that I decided to go into the business aspect of it as a team organization and not to just focus on the actual tournaments and the winning of the tournaments, but the key what's the word for this? We wanted to do campaigns that actually helped us, in what we were doing in gaming as a whole, and not just for Africans, but gamers worldwide. When we started the organization, Empire Katie was like fully pro world team. We had whites, we had Asians, we had indigenous people, we had Arabs, we had Africans, we had everyone on the squad. However, over time, how can I say this? The industry and the community both really didn't make it it was very, how can I say this, anti-EMP, so to speak. So for EMP, we didn't really get to do anything major with our all-world team. I wouldn't call it all-American. I would call it all-world because we really wanted to be about the world. The team wasn't a black team. It wasn't an Asian team. It wasn't a white team. It was a world team because we don't believe in any of that foolishness between, a particular race being godlike at a video game because that's their race. That's the biggest foolishness. The people used to say, well, the Asians are the best at video games. And I'm like, why? Because they make them. What? What in the blue hell does that have anything to do with their ability or skill? But you can't convince certain people otherwise. So, the Asians were considered the greatest in the universe and whatnot. So a lot of our players over the years, a lot of white players, a lot of Asian players, a lot of non-African players left the organization. And the organization ended up becoming this pro-black / pro-African team. Now, some people are like, why would you say / Because there's some black people who do not identify with their African heritage. So I got to be politically correct in this day and age. So, yeah.
All right. All right. That's very, very interesting because that actually leads perfectly into my next question or an extension of the last one. So what are you hoping to accomplish this time with your mission within Africa or in Africa, not within?
Okay, so when we went there, the first thing we wanted to do was just establish our presence there. Africans returning from the West, which Ghana was a perfect place because I don't think a lot of people understand the history about Ghana and what Ghana is about. Ghana was an area where they started the slave trade, or most know like the slave trade actually started out in Ghana. There's literally like so many different slave fortresses on the coast of West Africa, and Ghana is the most prominent. I think the most how can I say this? The most well-known slave fortress is Elmina, right? And that's located in Ghana. And that's where a lot of people, started to recognize like the history of like where the slave trade started. It was Ghana's slave ship, the first one, Jesus of Lebec, that left out of Ghana, to bring them to the Caribbean islands, the breaker islands like Jamaica, that a lot of people don't know about. And this is where they would break the slaves if they haven't already been broken when they were in Ghana. If you didn't appeal to the Euro-Christian way of life, well, they would starve you to death, put you in a cell where you'd be you'd be malnutritioned until you die. Or for those who really wanted to fight back, tie a boulder on them and throw them in the Atlantic Ocean. So that's for those who really put up the most resistance. So and those who crossed the Atlantic, who then thought that after they reached new land to fight back, then they would buck break our brothers and our fathers, and then tie our women upside down by their toes and cut their stomachs open so that the unborn baby can fall out of the womb and stomp it to death to kind of instill fear into any of our ancestors who wanted to try to revolt for our God-given freedom. Typical European stuff. Yeah, well, European of the times. So let me say that so no one can think I'm trying to bag on Europe right now. But at the time, these are the horrid atrocities that mankind has done to mankind. Outside of that, we wanted to go there to create an introduction. We made our introduction to our brothers and sisters and gave them as much information as we knew about the video game industry and the esports industry and technology here in the West, and how it can be used to help uplift Africa, not only from a technological standpoint, and not only from an entertainment standpoint, but from an advanced education standpoint. And we were able to solidify that introduction. There I was awarded and appointed as Ghana's International Esports Ambassador, and they also invited me on Kwesi TV Sports for one of their esports championship, and they made me I don't want to say a correspondent, but I was definitely a guest. And when it came down to the championships and stuff like that, they made me what's the word for this? They made me they give out the championship to a guy named Sule, who won the FIFA championships through Empire TV assigned. He's our first brother from the motherland that Empire TV has officially signed to its team and represents us, and will be a championship being sponsored by a big gaming company here in the U.S. who is also going there as well. So much on the board. We've established that, and now that we're going back, we're trying to execute what we've already established. So that's where we're at right now, going back and trying to finish the job of our introduction, and also establishing Africa as a whole. Africa doesn't need its brothers and sisters from America to do this. Africa has been doing this on its own. So I don't want anyone to get take the context out of, I don't want anyone to take it out of context that, Triforce is establishing esports in Africa. No, I am helping to establish esports in Africa by bringing the knowledge and technology and some of the things that I know from the West here to Africa itself. That is my job. So I don't want to try to undermine any of my brothers and sisters' works that they're doing in Africa. My job is to go back home to complement the work of my brothers and my sisters. My brother.
All right. That's very, very, very well said. So, what game would you say? And I think I already know what the answer may be. What game would you say is the most popular esports-oriented game?
FIFA.
Okay, right.
FIFA, hands on. There's no question. Football is life over there. Football. FIFA is League of Legends in Africa. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm. And that also extends to Jamaica as well, right?
Oh, the Caribbean area. In all Afrocentric regions, FIFA is God. Don't let no one tell you any different. In Jamaica, we have a lot of League of Legends guys here, and they love it. But if you can't compare League of Legends to FIFA, that's absolute foolishness.
Yeah, it's the most popular professional sport around the world. That's a big thing. So, I've seen something recently. I wanted to ask you the specifics of it, so I don't quote it incorrectly. But I've seen you have a new role within the hashtag organization. Do you want to talk about that at all? Or?
Yes, hashtag, which is a social media platform, would be an understatement. It's really I can't find the word, so I'd have to use platform right now. It's a social media platform that is advancing social media in a way that it should have been, because it's literally like your social media life because of all the things that it provides. And it's into education, it's into music, it's into supporting artists and their craft, along while all integrating all of that into social media as well. But they're also into education, and they just recently appointed me as their e-learning and STEM games ambassador, where I will be helping them to develop educational video games and deploying them in regions of the world that really need it. Because the main head of the corporation, they're actually already they're already taking care of America, and they know about me going to Africa, and I'm here in the Caribbean. So my job is to really take that STEM EDU of hashtag and bring it to the Caribbean and in Africa. And education is key. And I call it advanced education because the way I can't speak for you, but the way I grew up in education, it's obsolete. I thought it was obsolete back then when I was growing up. And I never really liked school, not because I was this rebel kid. I thought school was whack. The teachers whack. You guys, they suck. And, they don't know how to teach. It's boring. It sucks. I learned most in critical thinking, problem solving. What's with the word? I learned a lot of these things, mainly from literally just video games. Like literally, I don't want to say I learned anything from Donkey Kong math per se, but reading comprehension, problem solving, Zelda, Dragon Warrior, Xanadu, Final Fantasy. A lot of the role-playing games taught me these things. And you want to talk about real problem solving, Legacy of the Wizard. I hated that game. Oh my God, that game's so annoying. But a lot of these things I learned from video games, which is why I have this never surrender. No, we find a way mentality, because there are games that have kept me playing for hours, and I don't give up. I keep at it. That's just how it is until the job gets done. So I got my we don't give up. We ride or die. We don't die. We multiply. That type of stuff. I got that from video games and so forth. So in this day and age, it's ridiculous that the school system is still the same. It's ridiculous that the Great Empire school system is literally one of the worst in the world. That's ridiculous. How can the Great Empire school system suck like this? It just does. So I think we have to change the format that it is, and STEM games is that's what can get it done. STEM games. So that's what we're focusing on. I have an idea for like a spelling game and a reading game, and I'm going to help hashtag develop these games, and you're going to see them. And our job, one of the things that we're going to be doing when we go back to Africa is literally bring these games to the Minister of Education and bring these and bring some of these games to the President of Ghana and Nana, and let him and show him that, listen, kids who can't even afford to go to school, let's say kids who can't go out to a school, these programs can be put on a phone, they can be put on a tablet. Ghana is literally the largest mobile market in Africa, and they can play these games. Kids can learn. They can learn their ABCs, they can learn to read, they can learn to write, reading comprehension, the math, all at home from the tip of their at the fingertips from their phone or their tablet. And all the other stuff that I can't really talk about right now in terms of what Hashtag has for their STEM games is like state of the art. Hashtag is evolving STEM games because I don't want people to think that Hashtag is invented it because STEM games has been around since the NES, but Hashtag is evolving it. So you had Nintendo, then you had Preschool Jumpstart, and now you have Hashtag. So that's where we at right now, and I'm just glad that I'm honored that Hashtag has selected me to be their ambassador. And now we're going to get it popping out here. Especially it brings me great pleasure to even bring this to the motherland. Like you have no idea, man. My father's in the grave, happy along with my mother. So and I'm glad to make them proud at what I'm doing. And so this is one of my greatest achievements. Bigger than my Guinness record, bigger than any tournament that I've won, bigger than my team being the number one winning video game team in the world, because we are literally proving exactly what our mantra. It's not about what you win, it's what you do with it. And the day Blacks and Africans understand this, or let me repeat this one more time, I say Blacks and Africans because some of our brothers and sisters out there don't identify with their African heritage. You understand what I'm saying, my brother? So, I'm just trying to be politically correct here, my brother. So, but yeah.
Well, thank you for that Triforce. Thank you. But since you brought up about your records, most of the viewers who are listening probably know you because of Tetris. I think most recently you got to 99th, the first person in the world to get to 99th prestige in Tetris 99. Which is excellent. And you can find his journey to get there on his channel, by the way, for those listening. But I would ask, around how many records do you have in total of Tetris World Records period?
Well, okay, so we still have to wait till Guinness officially approves of the record. So until Guinness officially approves of the record, right now it's at 9. If they approve the record, it is 10, possibly 11.
Wow, that's excellent. And how long have you been playing Tetris?
I've been playing Tetris since 1989 when it came out for the Game Boy and the NES.
Oh, okay. So, which version of Tetris would you say is overall your favorite?
Game Boy.
Right.
Which is why when I played the Tetris 99, I used the Game Boy skin.
Okay.
I think it's just a nostalgic thing.
Wow. So speaking of nostalgia, since this actually ties kind of into that question, being a team leader / owner, what would you say is one of your proudest memories of leading your own team?
Proudest of, so this is just for the team. My proudest memory for leading our team is wow. I think it would be when as a team we received the Guinness Book of World Records as the most documented tournament wins for a gaming team. And that's 2012. So we won more video game tournaments than any other esports team in the existence of competitive gaming, aka esports. No one has won more than us.
Well, because matter of fact, one of the EMP members, I think the first female EMP member, Lovin, she brought that up multiple times in the interview we did with her in the last episode. Mm-hmm. So that's excellent. That's excellent. I just have a few more questions for you, and then we'll be finished. What would you say, or which gaming community do you think has been the most respectful to you in your achievements, in your notoriety?
The gaming community has been the most respectful? None. They're all equal. We have supporters and haters everywhere. So there's no like an actual team that actually did more for us or did less for us or anything of that nature.
Excuse me.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's pretty something because you would expect for especially with someone with your history and what you've done for gaming, for you to be, I would say, held esteem in some way to them. But wow. Okay. So I would say I wanted to ask this to you personally. Would you say that one of the hardest parts about getting blacks or Africans, however you want to say it, into professional gaming or just gaming period, would you say one of the hardest parts about getting them into it is the public perception that gaming is at? Okay.
Hardest part of getting Africans into gaming or blacks into gaming is unity. I don't expect anybody to help us to do anything in life, in anything, period, when it regards to black people at all, globally. We are the most, in terms of our culture and what we contribute to the world, the most sought after people in the world, yet we're the most brutally treated people in the world. Some people would argue and say, but what about the Jewish people? The Holocaust has stopped for the Jewish people in the world. The Holocaust continues for us. And it's been going on it started before the Jewish people, and it's been going on longer after the Jewish people. So, and that depends on which Jewish people you're talking about, because there was a literal systematic removal of the African Jews to the new Jews that you see today. So, so everything we do, people love it, but in terms of us as a people, the world systematically continues to hurt us. And I mean that physically, like continue to hurt us. So whether we're being killed in Lebanon, enslaved in Libya, and shot dead in the streets by police officers disproportionately for unarmed on top of that. So we got to put that in there. You got to make sure people understand this is unarmed, right? In America, all of these things, and it's like, why are these, why do these things happen to us so much? These things, some people will justify, whatever and say whatever, and that's fine. I don't even want to get into the argument about that. But like in terms of what happens to us in South Africa, in the DR Congos, Nigeria, and people go say, yeah, but what about the criminal stuff that you guys do to yourself? That's the most disingenuous thing to even say, because when you really look at like people as a whole, like every ethnic group does something criminal to itself in its poor wallet, and even its rich, like. A bunch of European rich men do a lot of like evil things to each other. You know what I'm saying? But we're not going to sit here and let's not sit here and act like these other entities don't do these crimes to their own ethnic group. But for some reason, people only want to point out that Africans do this, to themselves, especially in America, like black on black crime and all this other stuff. So what about Arab on Arab crime? So when the Arabs I don't want to say the Arab terrorists, because that's not the statement that I want to use. I don't want people to think that. But when Arabs who are got to be careful how I say that, because I want to. Arabs are not terrorists, but there are people of Arab descent or just Arabs that do terroristic things. There we go. So context is very important, especially in this day and age. You have a lot of people who just they love taking the words and taking it out of context. So, but when Arabs do, when some Arabs do terroristic things to each other, do we sit here and say, "Oh, that's Arab on Arab crime"? No. When whites do it to each other, do we say it's white on white crime? No. So why, when we do it to each other, we call it black on black crime? This is foolishness. What this is for people to try to justify their evils and their sins to us as black people worldwide. And I'm sick and tired of it. You know, it's just ridiculous. Just because we murder each other and rob from each other does not justify you should do it. Because we could never use that analogy against them. A black man today shot and robbed a white guy, and you'll never hear black people say, come on, man, are you guys kidding me? You guys shoot and rob each other all the time down in Wall Street. What? That doesn't justify the crime. Why do people use it against us? Absolute buffoonery. Literal buffoonery.
That's very well said. People have their blinders on when it comes to certain things. So I would like to ask this question. This will most likely be the final one because I know you have a tax schedule. With the success of positive African-oriented projects such as Black Panther, would you like to see more characters and IPs made by actual black creators to rise to popularity and prominence like that?
Well, okay. When it comes to, here's my thing, right? I appreciate the white people who go out of their way to like the Russo brothers, how they properly represented us in Black Panther by allowing our people to have creative control on how things get done to represent our culture as close to the culture.
Black Panther was directed by Ryan Coogler.
No. The Russos do the whole MCU, remember they selected Kruger so he could do that, and I appreciate them because they could have just said no, we're not giving you anything, So I appreciate that they did that, and because they did that, I just want to my focus though is about us being able to do our own. Like, it would be nice if we as black people could have our own production studios, or our own producers, own executive producers, like Denzel Washington. And we can do these things on our own with the whole $200 million budget, et cetera, or whatever it may be. We don't have to get it from somebody else. If you look at what's going on in Africa, it would be great if Africans can have that type of budget and not do the Nollywood or whatever movies, those type of films that they do in Africa, which you can't necessarily take serious because of the foolishness, the low budget and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, it's cool and funny and everything, but it would be nice if we can get a film for black people, by Africans, for Africans, et cetera, that is not that does not have a Jewish person, a European person, or an Asian person at the head, at the tip of the pyramid that makes the final decision. Like, it would be nice if we were at the tip of the pyramid making final decisions and making final decisions to people who look like us throughout the entire pyramid.
That is very, very, very well said, because of one of the biggest, because in the first podcast we ever did, I talked about Milestone Media, which is a primarily black ran and owned comic book imprint that was very successful until the comic book crash happened back in 1996, and part of the reason why they crashed was because they didn't have the same level of support and sales as, let's say, a Superman or Spider-Man comic did. So that, having that support is needed. Is needed more than people actually realize. But Triforce, that is at the end of my questioning. Is there anything you would like me to ask you to ask me, say to the viewers? Just anything you would like to bring up that's happening in the future? Anything you would like to say? The floor is open.
Oh, definitely. Well, so you have a very unique audience that I like. I really like your work and all the stuff that you do, because you do a work that very few people do, which is focused on black content, and you have a zeroed in focus on that. And so there's an audience that you push out to. All I would like to ask you is if at the end of your video, if you can put the YouTube link of my GoFundMe campaign for the Building Blocks to Africa on the channel so people can see it. And to your audience, please help support our GoFundMe campaign. We're trying to raise $13,000, and I guess from the time of this recording, 25 more days left before we're scheduled to leave out for Ghana, so that we can continue our work. I can bring the STEM technology to Africa and try to implement it into the school institution, or an alternative way to advance our education for people in Africa, not just Ghana, but throughout all of Africa. And for everybody out there of the pro-African community, listen, guys, my advice to you, don't wait on anyone to come help us. There's no help coming. We got to do this ourselves. And to be very honest with you, we built this world for the most part. A lot of things have been stolen from us and used to advance the world. And I guess that's fine, because, I'm a progressive thinker. So if they took our stuff and they evolved it and used it to advance the world for the better, then that's good. But we can't wait on anyone to do anything for us, man. If we have a problem, we need to seek each other and solve our own problems. So to this Black community or African community, I look to you guys for support and help with my Building Blocks to Africa campaign. And thank you for having me on, Dr. Clark.